Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. Flat Earth Homeland. Operation Ephraim's Rescue, and what's that one? No. OzArk, Plateau, Remnant, Relocation, Association, Headquarters, Cooperative, Working Togethery. I thought I'd go all Ritchie from Boston on you. I got about half an hour to drive to get to where I can sleep for a few little minutes, and I need to stay awake and alert. Not that talking is going to help, but I thought I'd get some things said. I was thinking about just different aspects of, okay, number one, I'm always thinking ahead. Sorry about that, you know. Like I've known that this is going to happen. I've known that things were going to happen exactly as they're going to happen for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So I've been planning for that. I've been planning for this day, you know, just what I felt driven to do. In 1980, I had a, you know, I say these things that so I'm repeating myself. You know, new people come on, new subscribers, they can't go back and watch 400 videos right away, so I'm going to say what I got to say. So I'll tell you a story sometime, but not now. You know, 1980, I had I don't remember when, nothing, but I remember seeing a picture in my head. A bunch of tents in a pasture. And that was it. You know, some people have dreams. They have these, I told the other story about the other day about and every time I think about it, I can almost remember the lady's name. She's fading from my memory, which is scary. Again, it's right there, right there. Bissell is the last name, I'm pretty sure, but it's hard for me to imagine or believe that I can't remember her first name. That's scary. But you know, people that wake up with these sheet drenched in sweat nightmares, and they just shrug them off and they don't do anything. Well, all I had was a picture in my mind of some tents. There was no smoke, there was no movement. It was just a still picture, like the you know, paintings you get to hang over the couch, the cheap paintings, you know, just a picture, you know. No dogs, no cats, no nothing, just tents. As I recall, most of them white, maybe a teepee. I didn't know what a teepee was back then. I mean, everybody knows what a teepee is, but I hadn't studied them yet and fallen in love with them. But then I knew that the tents represented people that were refugees, and that if I did not do something to help them, they were going to die, or they would probably die. So that was it, you know. It started me on a course of being what I called for many years a closet survivalist. From 1980 to 1993 for 13 years, and 14 years, and got to the point where, you know, it was just like, we got this one newsletter for so long, the MIA, McIlvaney Intelligence Advisory, or Advisor. And it was good stuff, but it's like all these people do. They tell you to buy gold, tell you to buy silver, buy guns, move to South America. That was his shtick, like everybody, most people that do that. And it was just so depressing, and I got to the point where I said, I don't want to get that anymore. It's just too depressing. So I was not getting enough positive information, because most of those people that do that are preaching doom and gloom so you'll buy their crap. Well, You know, I'll preach doom and gloom, but I'm not going to sell you crap. I'll sell you good stuff if you want. I'm not selling anything right now per se. We have in the past. But I believe in selling and buying good stuff that'll keep you alive, not cheap imitations and knockoffs. I mean, there's a room for those, you know. And I'm going to talk about some things, you know, like I said before, I've talked about some cheap. That's my whole thing. Is part of it is cheap knockoffs. But when you're talking tools, when you're talking, let's say a wood stove, you can't substitute quality. You just can't. You can get by with something for a while, but you know, you buy something, and is it going to last 1 year? Is it going to last 5 years? You know, the stove in the house where I've stayed the last 2 winters, Lopi, L-O-P-I, that thing will probably be, if nothing happens, you know, it'll be there for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, still functional. You know, that's what you want. Heirloom things that you can hand down to your children and your grandchildren. So, yeah, I just had that site, and then by 1993 I was to the point where we had, my wife and I had not wanted to be tied to the city, and that's what a lot of y'all's problem has been, you know. So consciously did not buy a house, and consciously I deliberately never got a job, a real job, with you know, retirement and 401k and all that, insurance. So I have raised 5 children, no insurance, you know, not a real job, just self-employed, sales, you know, carpet cleaning, freight, you know, just freight handling, whatever. Probably 500 jobs in my life, I don't know. So we just kept at that, and then when the time came to move, bam, we were gone. It worked for us. We were able to just extract ourselves from the city and the rat race and everything, just bam, gone instantaneously. And so I gotta slow down for the turn, or the thing's gonna go sliding. So that did work. And how many people right now that are listening to me can say we own 70 acres paid for? You know, and the last 10 might not be, but I mean, 2 of our families, 2 of my children are living on it. You know, they ain't gonna leave. It'll be paid off. If it's not paid off already, I don't know the details, I don't really care. And then another 20 acres that, you know, basically was supposed to be paid off within a year, and the people that sold it to them said, hey, do you want a job to help pay for the land? Well, yeah. So it's been a couple of years. It was supposed to be paid off within a year, but it's done deal, you know. So how many of you all listening to me own 70 acres and have your entire family, every child and every grandchild, living on the same property on 40 acres farm? We originally bought 10, paid that off in less than 1 year. A farm, a 10-acre farm, paid it off in less than a year. You know, and then 20 acres and 30 acres, 10 more acres and then 20 acres. So, and that's something I've been meaning to talk about too, is building altars, and I want to get back to that, but that's not what I want to talk about right now, because all 3 of those pieces of land, I'll just say real quick, we built 3 altars. I built 3 altars. Abraham built altars, and God said, wherever you walk with this land with the sole of your feet, that will I give you. Do it. Go find a property. When you see a property and you fall in love with it, walk it. Put your feet on that land, walk around it, blow a shofar, you know, find rocks, 12 rocks, and build an altar and claim the land. Now, we did that, and 10 years went by. You know, we built an altar, and we're, by heaven's grace, able to qualify to buy it. And we did. We borrowed money for the down payment, borrowed money from the bank, and 20% down, and paid that off in less than a year. But we built 2 more altars on land next to it. And what happened with that was, 10 years later, the phone rang. Would you like to buy that 10 acres? Yes, but we want the 20 behind it. Well, we already promised that, sold that to somebody else. Phone rings, and somebody else is calling and says, I bought that land for you because they'd sell it to me cheaper than they would to you, so if you want to buy it from, you want to buy it, you'll pay my price. I won't make a nickel on it. Wow. Build an altar. And like I said, the money to pay for the land came with the offer of buying the land. So it happens. 1 year, you should be able to buy land and have it paid off inside of 1 year. 2 years max. Being in debt for a long period of time, not cool. Not biblical, not right. And we're living in a screwed up society, I understand. So, anyway, back to winter and thinking ahead. So, this grand solar minimum, the northeastern United States, everybody pretty much knows by now, unless you're living under a rock, is getting hammered. Thor News, another guy, he'd mentioned the cranky weather guy, look him up. But Thor News, he said he's never seen anything like this storm in his life. This guy is a maverick, like I said. He's kind of like Dutch Sins, but he focuses on just weather, not volcanoes and hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff. Which I've noticed Dutch Sins has given up on his tornado predictions and scalar waves, and I think they just shut him down on that and said, we'll let you do earthquakes, but shut up about the tornadoes that we're doing. So, anyway, Northeast is getting hammered, a lot of snow, grand solar minimum's coming. So I would say, wouldn't it behoove you to get ready for next winter? People in the northern climates, they have 2 and 3 and 5 years worth of wood cut, split, under shelter, drying, and get in a panic if it gets down to less than 3 years. They're upset. Because what happens if that? It's life or death. If you got to heat with wood and you're not using a rocket stove, which is be stupid. But if you're heating with wood, whatever you're heating with, and you need wood, and something happens to you, that's a lot of work doing that. Chainsaw, axe. If perchance you were to get injured or get sick or a car wreck or something, you better have some money in the bank, per se. Okay? So firewood is money in the bank in that sense, and it is. So you're coming out from the cities, you need to just completely redo your thinking exceedingly fast. There was a video I was watching about a couple living in a tent, a teepee, and a camper, and had a little wood stove in there, and the guy's out with an axe chopping wood into little pieces. And they said, we ran out of wood last night, and they have no concept that you should have, and they were burning really junky wood, just crap wood. And I'm not knocking it, except because that's where you are at first. You don't have any concept of like, hey, I need a whole winter's worth of wood. What if there's a bad snow and you can't get out, and you don't want to be out cutting wood when there's a blizzard? So you got to have the wood. It's got to be, you either have to have a full tank of propane or something. You got to have fuel, period, for heating, and it's got to be there. You can't go out and cut wood every day. I mean, that's the mentality of a hunter-gatherer, caveman idiot. The Indians were smarter than that. They had their Nez Perce Indians, Chief Joseph, 3 ways to do everything. So winter, get ready. Get bunny boots. On the bunny boots thing, the black ones are good to 20 below. White ones are 60 below. Try to get the U.S. military ones. There's a Korean knockoffs, that look like them, but they're not the real thing. The real ones have valves in them because they're made for paratrooping, parachute jumping. And I don't know that The Korean ones are bad. You know, they're cheaper, but you know, they're probably quality-wise right anywhere here is good. So try to get the real thing. Read up on them. I'm going to do a video on them, explaining all of it. I'm going to do a video on auto socks, snow socks, the fabric chains, traction, and I got that all broken down and screenshotted and screenshooted, all that good stuff. So sizes and different companies and, you know, blah blah blah. And I've got a couple on order, a pair of 2 different kinds. Okay, I'm doing it, you know, and I may, hopefully this vehicle will last. But if it don't, they fit multiple. They fit about every type. There's only about, let's say, five sizes, and they fit a multitude of chain, you know, tires. In other words, they you know, if it's a really big tire, it might cover that much of it, and if it's a smaller tire, it's going to cover a lot more of it down the sides. That's just the way they work. Okay, so and I think I'm gonna, I don't know whether to go to the trailer or go to the house. I need to sleep really bad, really bad. I are here. Yeah, I think I'll just pull it up and finish with my, I can't turn the wheel. At least I do if I got to turn it an increment at a time with my hand getting caught in it. Get out of the sunlight too. That would be nice. Oh, there's old Shirley. Oh, I could have turned the fan off. I didn't. All right, I'm going to pause. No, I'm going to stop this one just in case the sound is horrific.